Hey guys, this is Mike. I just completed another miner here. I wanted to give kind of a brief tutorial as far as how to set these up. There are two different versions. This is the larger version. This one has more fans and more space. So a few things about these. The majority of them that I'll send do not have onboard graphics. So that's the big thing here. You need to plug the HDMI cord into the GPU itself. Here's an example GPU. This is one of the NVIDIA smaller, I think 1060 GPU. So these risers, they are plugged in to the PCIe slots down here, and there's some that are plugged in with a splitter. So with these, the way these come from me is the risers are already installed, but the power cables are not. So in most of the cases, you need both a power cable to plug into the back of the riser here. Here's an example. This one is one that I plugged in. So this is where they plug into the back of them, and then they plug into the breakout board here. So if you have, depending on how much power you have, you're going to want to split them up between the two breakout board and power supply combos. So when you do that, you can kind of split the power. The motherboard itself and the TV, the screen, are plugged into this one. Those probably take about 300 watts total, maybe a little more or less, not 100% sure. So whenever you're installing the GPU, what you'll need to do first is they'll have, probably the ones you're using are going to have this power cable like this. So you need a, the reason I include 16 of the PCIe power cables is because you'll need one for the riser that's shown there, and then one for the GPU here. So whenever you get this, you'll need to plug in the, this slides back, these little pieces, so you can pull them back, and then you can, whenever you install the GPU, you can slide it back so it kind of locks it in place a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and install this one here. You can, you might have to adjust the spacing on the back here, just because there's so many different styles of GPU that you might need to move these around one way or the other. So we're going to go ahead and just install these in the slot here. So that's going to be fully pressed in, and you can just make sure it's all the way in here. So now that this is installed, you can use another one of these cables. Thing about the cables, this particular GPU, it takes an 8-pin, or I'm sorry, a 6-pin. I have another one that is going to, and probably some of the larger ones, I think the 3080s and 3090s have this. So this one has an 8-pin connection. So the reason we have these, this is a 6+2 pin. So what you can do is you can slide these together. There's a way, I only have one hand free, so I can't really do it. But there's a way to slide this second set on, so you can use this as either a 6-pin or an 8-pin. If you just slide this one on and connect it, you can use these as an 8-pin, and then they'll plug into the 8-pin connection. So that's pretty much it as far as installing these. So again, you need a PCIe cable, a PCIe power cable connected to the base of the riser here, right next to the USB, and then you also need one plugged in for most GPUs. This little 760, this is just a tiny one. This is what I use for display for testing. This doesn't need this accessory like the second one. It just needs the riser powered. So I'm gonna run through turning on real quick here, so you can see it here. So when you're using one of these power supplies here, this is a breakout board. This is a kind of close up of the breakout board. With this particular breakout board, this is the power button right here. This one's not plugged in, so it's not going to turn on. But this is the power button. You have to turn. This is the first thing you have to do. So if it comes with two power supplies, you're going to turn both of these on, and then it will display a voltage right here. There are some that have, like, it's kind of in the same area, but there's a little switch down here. Those are, I don't really like to use those because they're kind of hard to get to, but some have this little thing on the bottom, but there's like a little switch that you have to turn one way or the other, and that's what turns it on. And once you turn that on, it'll give you power. So this particular unit has Hive OS installed. It's installed on the SSD, and we're gonna go ahead and turn this one on. So as you can see here, I'm gonna turn on, this is already plugged in, this power supply. I'm gonna go ahead and press this button here, and it's going to give me, this is a voltage output that it's showing me. And then, so now that it has power, the TV is gonna come on, everything, but nothing else is going to come on, because this is the, there's a power cable back here. It's gonna be in the back corner. It might be red and white, and in the smaller units, it's in like the corner. It's wrapped around this corner leg. So when you see this power cable, this is a button. This is just a power button that you need to press. So I'm gonna press this, but I'm gonna zoom out and kind of show that it gives power to kind of the whole motherboard here. So now we've turned that on. We're going to, it's on and everything now. Now that we press the button, again, this is plugged into the GPU. So this is why we're getting an output. It's gonna start, and then it's going to go through the boot sequence. So now it's booting into Hive OS, this particular one. If you have Windows or Ethos, it'll do kind of the same thing. It'll go through the desktop here. So now you can see this one is running Hive OS, and it's ready to go. And it will, if you look closely, it like identifies the GPU that you have installed, just to make sure that you have it up and running. You can see there it says the 760 is installed. A few notes: this silver outlet here, the PCIe cable here, this is the video output. Some of the other ones work. It's like hit or miss depending on the motherboard, but you want to use the video output on this one. So my GPU that I'm connected to my screen on, it is going to be connected to this one. So this, since I'm only using one GPU really here at the moment, so this is connected to this one, which is my GPU, very small GPU. And then this GPU, the USB cable, is connected to this screen here, which is how we're getting a display. So again, some of these motherboards, some of the CPUs don't have integrated graphics, just because you don't need them, because you're running, up to 8 GPUs here. So that's just a few things to note. Whenever you're setting this up, just make sure all these cables these come out pretty easily. These splitters come out super easily. So make sure that this is just pressed all the way in. They're pretty loose in there. Just double check all the wiring, double check all these USBs here, just because they can come loose in shipping and things like that. Also the screen, just double check. This one's pretty secure here, but sometimes I take the screen off if it's just not gonna ship well, and then there's just you can just put it on there, just because it can be an issue with the screen's a little bit more fragile than the rest of it, and it's just kind of hanging here. So it's sometimes the carriers aren't super gentle with these big boxes. This thing weighs like almost 40 pounds, so it's definitely a lot to do. But so yeah, this one is ready to ship. I just need to add the second power supply, and we'll be ready to go with this one. But yeah, thanks for your purchase, and thanks for watching the video.